Alright, let's see if I can do this right. Drug lesson plan. I don't think there's a way for me to share my video, my screen. I don't know, but I'll just tell you. Anyway, my lesson plan is about drug use and abuse. And so obviously that's the nutrition part. I'm doing like 20 students. I mean, I have groups of 5 or so for 7th grade health. Let's see. Parent community connections. I want kids to be able to share with their parents what they learned in class and what they can do to prevent drug use and abuse. I think this will help the community in a sense. I've got 2 standards: analyze factors that influence substance use and abuse, and to explain the short and long-term effects of substance abuse on the dimensions of health. My learning target is I can describe the difference between substance use and abuse, as well as the short and long-term effects on our health from substance abuse. I have, pre-assessment. My students will fill out an entry task with 4 questions. The questions are: create any type of goal you'd like to accomplish for the rest of the week, whether it's food, homework, chores, exercise, whatever. Second one is: do you see certain substances such as tobacco or vapes becoming an issue in your school or community? Third one is: are you aware of how drug addiction is affecting our community, and explain it. And the fourth one is: do you think there are any solutions for those that struggle with addiction? Also explain that. Let's see. My formative assessment, I'm going to have them do a whiteboard activity. Let's see. Okay, yep, got that. My summative will be an end of the unit assessment. And my self-assessment is that the students will write down one thing from the unit that they would like to know more about, and write down any questions and feedback for me. So let's see. Prior lessons from a drug and alcohol unit we went over as 6th graders. They should have some prior knowledge. My opening is hand out the worksheet that has the entry task questions and ask kids to fill them out. You know, those same questions that I talked about. And then I'll facilitate group discussion by asking students to share their responses with their table. And that's one of those forms of indirect instruction, because I'm not asking them to just write down a question and be quiet. I'm asking them to write down a question and then talk with their group about it. And then, so for the middle part, I originally had a PowerPoint where I would present it, and it's all about, tobacco, vapes, etc. But this time I'm going to make it indirect instruction by, instead of me presenting the PowerPoint, the kids are going to share. I'm going to share the PowerPoint with my students on their Google Classrooms, and then I'm going to have them read through the slides on their own, and then they're going to write notes on their own. And they can either do this with a partner or alone. Next one, I'm going to have a whiteboard activity. I think this is another form of indirect instruction, because I'm not directly talking to them, but they're going to, I'm going to write on the whiteboard a table with stimulants that has stimulants, depressants, and hallucinogens. And then I'll ask the kids to come up to the whiteboard and write down a drug that corresponds to the category. And with their previous lesson, they should know a little bit, and they should have some background information, as well as obviously the PowerPoint that I just shared with them. And then I originally had where I was going to hand out a worksheet and play a video on my projector, and I will ask the kids to complete the worksheet part per the video. But this time, for indirect instruction, I'm going to share the video to the kids on Google Classrooms, and obviously they have their Chromebooks. and the students are going to work on the worksheet as a group. They're going to choose one person to play the video for their group, and then together they're all going to write on their own individual worksheets the answers to the questions they have written down. Obviously, they're going to pause when they need to write down their answers to the questions on the worksheet. It's video. It's called "Half of Us" it's a Macklemore video, because he was talking about his prior addiction, and so it's relatable a little bit to the kids. And then what they're going to do is they're going to have their Chromebooks, and they're going to go to this link I shared with them. It's called Drugs and Alcohol for Teens, on the Kids Health website, which is an incredible website, by the way. I have shared this with them on Google Classrooms, and I'm going to hand out a printed worksheet. However, I could also have a Google Doc and share that with them so they can type it instead of writing it. But honestly, if they're going to watch a video, I'd just rather have them write it down. So for a little bit of closure, some more indirect instruction, I'm going to have the students work on the worksheet in their own groups, kind of like before with the other video, and they're going to navigate the website with the link that I shared with them on Google Classrooms, and then they're going to answer the teens' health questions as a group, where everyone writes on their own paper like before. So, yeah, they're like in their groups, they're doing it all together, they're collaborating and working together and working on finding the answers to my worksheet. And then for my last part of indirect, I'm going to have, as soon as the groups finish their worksheets, they're going to come to the front of the class and they're going to share their answers to both sheets as a group. So they're going to answer the Macklemore video question. They're going to share those answers to the Macklemore video, as well as their answers to when they navigated the Teens Health website. So I'll show you a couple of the questions that I have. So for the Macklemore video, first question: what was your overall reaction to the first half of the video? And the first half is the where it stopped, like at 8 minutes or so. They don't need to watch everything because it's long. And second question was the start of Macklemore's substance abuse story. Was it for social reasons? Did he do it by himself? The third question is, how did the role of substance use and abuse affect Macklemore's academics or his career later on in life? Number 4, what is another term for oxycodone? Oxycodone or oxys. And then last question for the first part of this worksheet is, how does substance use and abuse affect Macklemore's relationships in life? And honestly, like, Macklemore really shared a great interview about what happened to him and how his choices eventually led him to this path and how it affected him in his life. So my other part of the worksheet, the Teens Health worksheet, I just messed up my computer. Okay. So I have the link posted already on my lesson plan. Obviously, I'll share that with you. But they're going to go to the link. They're going to answer the question. Obviously, using the sheet. My first question, and this is where the sharing part comes in, because everybody's going to have a different response, and I think that's a good form of indirect instruction because they're teaching their peers about what they looked up. So my first question is, they're going to go to the drugs tab. They're going to pick 2 drugs, and I put in parentheses, try to choose something other than marijuana or caffeine. And I'm going to describe, and I'm going to have them describe if the drug is a stimulant or a depressant or hallucinogen. They're going to write about how addictive is it, and they're going to describe the long-term effects. Actually, they're going to describe the short and long-term effects on their body, so they're explaining how that drug affects their body. They're going to pick 2 of them. Honestly, maybe I could have them pick even more because that's not the worst idea, just because it gives them some more. But I wanted to do something within the time constraints. So, what they're going to do when they write down those answers, they've picked their 2 drugs, whether it's a stimulant, a depressant, or hallucinogen. They're going to talk about how addictive it is, and they're going to describe how the drug affects their body, both short and long term. And then when they're done, I'm going to call out groups. So I have groups set up, and I set them up for reasons I'm not letting kids choose their own groups. But when I call their groups, they're going to go to the front of the classroom, and they're going to share their answers. So the intention is that everybody has some different response and a different answer to everything. So going back up to, let's see, academic language supports, whatever function is describe. Vocabulary will be substance, addictive, depressant, stimulant. The syntax will be to write down answers to the worksheets as a group. The discourse obviously will be working together as a group to answer the questions on the worksheet. They're going to reflect on it, and they're going to talk in front of the class about it. Language support. The language support would be, I'm going to write my learning target on the board, and I'm going to have them repeat it after me. I think another language support could be when I have the whiteboard activity, because I'm writing stuff on the board, and then the students are going to come up and they're going to also write stuff on the board. For planned accommodations, for if I have students with hearing aids, I'm going to make sure that I face them at all times so that they can read my lips, because obviously that's something that I did that really helped me, because if somebody's not facing me, I have a harder time hearing them. Differentiated instruction. So this is the part where my seating chart comes in for the groups. So to do this, I will have a seating chart and put the kids with 504s and IEPs together so that it's a level playing field for them. Mm-hmm. Because in the health and PE department, we usually get all the kids that have IEPs, 504s, things like that. And that's one of those things that as a health and fitness educator is we need to be aware of, and we need to be able to accommodate for them. I'm also going to be walking around and monitoring them a little bit more, and I can head to their tables and offer them some one-on-one guidance. My expectations, I guess for the culturally responsive stuff I did, it's important to understand that everyone has different lifestyles. There are people who unfortunately use drugs and maybe even know a few, but it's important to be respectful of that fact and to understand that we should not judge people because of that. We live in an area of high poverty. That's where my placement is, and it's important to be respectful of everyone's bodies and personal lives. I'm going to reinforce this by talking about it in class throughout our unit. Let's see, unique lesson expectations. I'll make it a point to walk around and check on the kids' progress, remind them of our rules and expectations. Drug abuse can be a touchy subject just because of the epidemic we're facing in America, and it's my job to reinforce the fact that everyone's different and we need to respect others when it comes to their lifestyles. We shouldn't be judging people because of that. We can only try to help. So unique safety concerns, there weren't really any for the unit, but I guess be aware of your computer's volume when you're playing the YouTube video with your group, because other people are also going to be playing the video. And then I cited the indirect instruction part, and everything that's highlighted will be indirect instruction, if that makes sense. Let's see. Yeah, I've changed, from making the PowerPoint to sharing it with the students, having going through it with a group. Something else is to have students watch the video together as a group on one Chromebook and then writing down the answers, pausing when necessary. Let's see, what else? That's pretty much it. I cited the book a little bit, so everything just like that. And let's see, I think that's it. I got my learning target. I don't know what I would definitely recommend as a teacher, because of those hoops we have to jump through. Write your learning target on the board and have the kids repeat it after you. That looks really good in your grades. That's it. Bye.